Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us.
Welcome to a brand new episode, you sorry shits.
Perfect. Nailed that. Welcome back to another expertly crafted and cultivated and professional episode of Sort of Brilliant.
So much effort put into the pre-planning.
So much of that. That was a type of Negan. So we're sort of brilliant. It was sort of Negan, okay? So it was there. Anywho, welcome. We're talking about The Walking Dead today because we like to stay super hip and relevant and culturally relevant. And that's why we're talking about a show that's, off the air.
It is?
Yeah, it's over.
Finally?
Man.
Doesn't it have another one?
Last year.
There are spinoffs.
So
not that bad.
There's the spinoff of Fear the Walking Dead, which sucked so much ass. We tried so hard to get into it.
We got to season 2. We made it. Couple episodes in.
We actually have tried 2 separate times to watch it.
It's
and
painful.
Both times we got to the same exact spot and stopped.
It's like me with Buffy.
I could not. Yeah, but that's actually a good show. So watch your mouth.
Somebody out there is going, Fear the Walking Dead is great. It's my favorite show.
I know, there are wrong people everywhere. But The Walking Dead was a great show. Now I say was because at a certain point it just fell off. And we will talk about which point because our expert guest today is George.
Oh, I qualify as expert? That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a shit sorting episode. We know how much everyone loves those, but
kind of not really.
It's like a
not really
cool little flip on it.
It's less shit sorting. No, because it's only one of us instead of 2. Like the majority of people have seen the show on this episode, as opposed to.
Well, Lauren is technically shit sorting. So I've given her a couple of episodes that I thought were indicative of.
I hope you know what they are because we've got to tell everybody.
I gotta tell you, I feel they're fairly obvious. George as well. George, you feel they're obvious?
Yeah.
Who's they?
Yeah.
They're very straightforward.
And I think
characters.
I thought so too, and I think Lauren got the gist from what I sent her too. I also sent her accompanying TikToks that I thought were fun.
I
don't know if those were
the entire
helpful
first
in
season of
reinforcing
this show as well. Not that I remember any of it, but
well, so
well, that doesn't include Michonne and
super helpful.
You don't get a lot of.
We're sorting Rick and Michonne and Daryl and Negan for everybody who that was not said to, which is everybody.
That's everyone. If this were a show that Lauren was going to watch, like naturally just finish up, I would have Carol, I would have Glenn, I'd have Maggie, I'd do Rosita, I'd do Abraham, I'd do everyone.
But, also, if I was ever going to watch this, I wouldn't have shit sorted. I would have just watched it.
Yeah, because then you would have known and then you could have just regularly sorted.
No. But I'm saying I wouldn't have done this episode if I was planning on watching the show without just watching the episode. Why don't you plan on watching it? I am not a fan of the concept of zombies as a reality.
Okay.
It's just not my thing.
I think my only issue is that the word zombie doesn't exist in their universes.
That's what they are.
That's your only issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't watch zombie shows.
So The Last of Us is really not on your roster, huh?
They're not zombies. They're infected.
It probably will be. Yeah, they're not zombies. And also, I watched the video game, so...
They're zombies.
Watched the video game.
Did you watch the Walking Dead video game?
I watched some of the Telltale.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of it's connected. I don't know enough about it, but allegedly, there's some connection and overlap with the show. Mm-hmm. We had a friend that was... Do you remember, George? He was obsessed with the Walking Dead game only.
Oh, yeah.
And he loved
Not
Clementine.
Even the comics. Oh, I know that bitch.
Not the The child?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I know that little shit. Yeah. So I don't know.
We're
sticking.
Lauren's drinking beer and I'm drinking Capri Sun.
I finished my beer.
I've got a house wine.
Hey.
All right, so I'm a child.
It is a weeknight, but it's been a week already.
Your child's not in the house, so.
Yeah. I know, I broke out the dangerous stuff. The Pacific cooler.
She's not here to kill you if she saw you. The reason that I picked these characters and that me and George kind of like settled on them is because even though sometimes it doesn't appear to be the case, it is the case that they have enormous personalities through their performances. And while the others do too, I just am majorly entertained by these specific ones.
Well, these they're so obvious of the houses that they're in that this actually makes them good pillars for people to understand how sorting works. And so they can kind of use these as guidelines, like to compare to other characters. Like sometimes it's not, they're on the fence. These characters aren't. So it just makes it kind of, they really highlight the features of the houses.
Well, and my favorite thing is when you have characters that are like super different, or you think they're super different, but they belong in the same house. So like with Mythic Quest, we've got Joe and David and Hufflepuff. And I love using that example because they're so wildly different, but they're so very obviously Hufflepuffs. So I don't know, what's obvious to us might not be obvious to other people, but these four feel like they should be obvious to everyone. I don't know if that's fair to say. But Lauren, I feel like Lauren got it pretty quickly. She did not tell me exactly which houses she put them in. She inferred pretty heavily.
You inferred.
Two of them. What do you mean I inferred?
I didn't infer.
I inferred from your words, yes. So because she was putting out vibes, but she didn't actually say. Who would have thunk that she wouldn't have like explicitly spelled it out for me? But she didn't. And
I did explicitly sell out Rick. I said Rick.
Yeah, that's true. At a certain point, I just couldn't stop myself from like being like, and his this, and his that. I'm very excited to talk about Rick Grimes. So what we're going to do is, like when we have a regular shit sorting episode with guests on, we're going to let Lauren start off with what she thinks. We'll go through each character, and then me and George will either back it up or fight to the death over it. But before we do that, let's briefly talk about... So you're not going
to hear a lot of talking from me. I really didn't even, like usually with shit sorting, we watch 3 episodes. And I didn't even watch the whole episodes because Rachel went and like picked out the parts that she wanted me to see specifically for a character. So I was literally sitting down at my TV, like fast forwarding, watching like 5 minutes and then fast forwarding another 20 and then watching 10 minutes and then being done with that episode and going on the next episode and doing like the same thing. So I barely have any context for the show. I didn't know who they were talking about, what was going on.
Well, we'll fill in the blanks for you, but the problem is that every season is so vastly different from the one before it. And it's kind of like trying to get someone to put it into context for you. It's like getting them to sort Sam and Dean, but having to pick like really key episodes. But then maybe 1 minute they're talking about a werewolf, then the next they're talking about like some other obscure being, but that now they're in a bunker and they were just in hotels. And like it's not going to make complete and total sense. But this is an ensemble show, and many of them die, or many of them come in way later. Like Negan's not till what, George, season 6 or something?
Season 7 was
7. Yeah, and Michonne isn't until I believe the end
of 6. Yeah,
yeah. Michonne's like
he's in 6,
late 2 into season 3.
That's when everybody stopped watching that show.
Yes,
when
it is.
Glenn,
I saw all the anger. Yeah,
when Glenn went.
It's pretty much when me and George stopped watching live. We went back recently and did a full show rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of had to suffer through, like, it's a noticeable change.
Why did you want to meet JDM so bad, George, if you didn't watch any of the Negan stuff back then?
We did. We watched the Negan season, but it was
him, right? We got the idea. We saw a bunch of episodes of him, and he's just such an eccentric character. And then just seeing him on Supernatural, just kind of seeing what he's like off camera, just seemed like a really fun person to meet.
Nice,
and he did not let us down. I think who was
he's going to be amazing on The Boys.
Yeah, he saw me. I was dressed up as Negan when he saw me. And he saw me. He goes, "Holy shit!" Like, he sounded exactly like his character. I think
that was amazing.
One of our friends saw him in the parking lot, just like hanging out, and he was like super nice to her.
Yeah, and it was just very funny. Like I guess his voice is a little dramatic. Like, he does little dramatic inflections sometimes, but then other times it's completely gone. So I don't know. I think he saw you and the Negan, it jumped out.
He's like super tall and a natural badass. Like, why wouldn't I want to
He's a very cool guy.
I want to be him.
Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. So, for everyone who listens to The Walking Dead, I think George and I, we were dating when it came out. I don't remember what year. Maybe it came out 2012, 2013. So we immediately hopped on and started watching it. So George's experience with it is the same as mine, but that's pretty much what happened. He kills Glenn. Spoiler alert. He kills Glenn, and
the show
it was hard to continue after that.
Really?
Yeah.
What, George?
2010 it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we started dating 2011. So we
It was before us.
I think we
Before us?
Whoa. Super old. Yeah.
Not supernatural old.
Lauren obviously has no story with the Walking Dead.
Yes, I do. I watched the entire of the first season in college. My roommate
and hated it.
Well, I didn't really. In college, my roommate was super into horror, and I was making her watch all of Supernatural up to that point, which was like season 8 or something. So I was really putting her through it. So she was like, "You have to watch some stuff that I like," and I was like, "Okay." So she wanted to watch American Horror Story, and that was the Witches season, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And she was also like, "You got to watch Walking Dead with me and my boyfriend." So I was like, "Okay." So I watched the entirety of the first season. I was like, "I don't really like zombies," and they were like, "Give it a try." So I watched the entirety of the first season, and I didn't really like it. They were like, I was like, the only scene I can remember is him waking up in the hospital and reading the fucking door wrong. And then I think it's
he doesn't actually say it out loud.
I know. And then I think it was probably towards the end of the season, like they went into some sort of like town or whatever, and there was a tank in the middle of the town, and they got like trapped inside the tank, and there were a bunch of walkers like trying to get in, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's Rick alone out there. Yeah.
What was it? Don't dead open inside.
Yeah, don't dead open inside. Yep.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to start with Rick, guys. I'm gonna have to get this all out. There's so much. So, I'd love to start with him.
Okay.
Oh,
you made
so
that
would
very
I, for
obvious.
Obvious reasons.
I fucking love him. All right. So, Lauren, based on what I gave you and what you've seen of him over time, give me your thoughts and then your house ruling.
I'll give you my thoughts first.
Well, you can, whatever order you feel comfortable
with. Okay, well,
with.
I mean, I feel like I have to say the house first in order, like, because I don't really have any. I have to even remember what I freaking watched. I don't know. It was a bunch of, like, not connected stuff, so it's hard to remember. I knew Rick was a Gryffindor, or I'm sorry, a Ravenclaw before I started watching the show.
Oh,
really freaked her out there.
Oh my god! It physically pained my chest, bro.
Okay.
Shit.
I knew he was a Ravenclaw without
fetch me the smelling salts.
Without watching any of the episodes that Rachel gave me. I don't remember if I knew it from watching the first season. I probably did. But like I said, I didn't really retain anything from that. I think I just knew it based off of pop culture, to be totally honest. Like, it's hard not to catch Rick Grimes or people talking about Rick Grimes. And that's so funny because most of the time I think it's just people talking about Rick Grimes and me being like, oh yeah, he's a Ravenclaw from people talking about him. So from the specific stuff that I saw from the episodes Rachel gave me that she still hasn't told all of you, the audience, because she wants to leave you in suspense.
Love that. I love doing that.
I saw him kill his best buddy who slept with his wife and got a baby in her. And then Shane. And then he tried to get him. He tried to trick him out into the wilderness so that he could shank him, and then tell everybody it was some other dude that they tied up for no reason. And and that was extremely Ravenclaw, just how he was like, so you thought you were gonna do it here, huh? And he wouldn't turn around, and Shane was like, what? What are you talking about? And he was like, you thought you were just gonna kill me here? And then he like explained his whole plan to him. And then was like, put our guns down. We'll go back and it'll be fine. We'll be men. We'll just forget this ever happened. And then he fucking shanked him. And then as he's viciously stabbing this man in the abdomen, he's like, this is not my fault.
You did this. This is you.
This wasn't me. So that got rid of the hypocrisy hypocrisy real quick where he was like, wasn't me. Came back with like bloodstain. And also I deduced from seeing the episodes later that he never told anybody that he killed Shane. Or he didn't at first, but then he told everybody that he killed Shane. I don't know exactly because I had to deduce this. I didn't actually see the.
Yeah, he pretty much tells him
immediately. He comes back and is like, "Yo, Shane's dead because I murdered him."
The problem is he goes back and the barn is on fire and they're under attack and they get split up.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't really have time
And then
to talk
when
about
they
it.
recoup together, he then tells them all, "Yeah, he's fucking dead."
Because he tried to kill me.
him.
Yeah, I think I saw that. I saw that in a recap, maybe.
He turned.
I had to do it. And then I think the next episode I saw that was Rick, that Rachel told me to watch for Rick, was in the town where I was like losing it. This is the first time I started texting Rachel too, because they gave him and Michonne police outfits. And Rick fucking yeah. And Rick fucking puts his on like it's a normal day and is like, I'm the law now because I'm wearing an outfit. I was like,
You're so excited to get his uniform back.
If you give Emma Swan that fucking shirt or Dean Winchester, they would have like thrown it in the lake and like pissed on it. But he's walking around in his little police outfit. And then he was standing outside staring at this red balloon in the pitch black. And then there's a man whose name is Pete apparently comes up behind him and is like, "How you doing, Rick?" And he's like, his eye starts twitching and his hand starts twitching and it's like next to his gun. And he won't turn around and look at Pete. And Pete's like, "Rick, you okay?" And Rick turns around and goes, "Keep walking." And later,
Stop, he's the best.
And later,
Fucking insane,
and later
dude.
I find out from this conversation with he's having with this dumb bitch Deanna that Pete is like abusing his wife and Deanna's like, "You can't just kill him. That's not how humans work. Like, that's not humanity. We can't just go around killing whoever's doing a bad thing." She's like, "I would just like release him out into the wild and not let him come back." And Rick's like, "He's gonna find a bullet in his head tonight." He's so over it. He's like, but then the end of that episode was really Ravenclaw, and it's the reason Rachel gave it to me, that he goes to that guy's house and it's like getting the wife out of there, and the guy picks a fight with him. So Rick starts like wailing the crap out of him in front of everybody, just blood smeared all over his face. And all the townspeople are like, "We got to get the dangerous people out of here," and they're all staring at Rick, and Rick's like, "You think me? You mean me?" And he's like, "I own all of you bitches. I am the law." he's like, "You're all dumb. Y'all thought we could just sit pretty in this neighborhood and that humans wouldn't be evil and that was still the world order or some shit. And I'm here to tell you that you're all fucking idiots and I'm going to kill this man in front of you and you're going to thank me and kiss my ass for it." So that was very Ravenclaw. And then the other stuff I saw was when Negan shows up. And that was also interesting because of what Negan is. But Rick's pretty, like, broken at this point from what Rachel told me. He had, like, his, like, break or whatever because his wife dies. So at this point, he seems really broken. And he's leading all these people who are also broken. And Negan shows up and is like, "You're all my bitches now." And starts, like, terrorizing the people that Rick loves. And so Rick just, like, does whatever he wants. Because he's like, "This is the best way to do it. Like, I'm still logicking." And there was a specific part where Negan shows up and he's like, "Now you have to give me all your guns." And there are some guns missing from the inventory. So he's like, "You better get those guns for me or I'm going to kill this lady." He's doing the inventory. And Rick, like, gets them all together in, like, this meeting house. And, like, he, like, logically explains, like, "Here's the thought I had about hiding some guns, and this is why I didn't do that, because I didn't think it would work because of this, blah, 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 blah." Like, he's laying it all out for them. He's like, "So there are 2 guns missing. I've told you why I didn't do it. I'm not a fucking idiot. Who's the fucking idiot here?" So, like, he really logically explains why that plan doesn't work. Like, through his own lens of, like, I was going to do it, and I'm really smart, and I decided not to. So whoever did it is fucking dumb. So that was really Ravenclaw. Those were, like, the main things.
Well put.
All very well put. A great assessment. So
Wait, did you give her
I feel
the
like I
one
picked-
where he's like
which one?
staring down Negan and he's like, it's already done. I'm gonna kill you.
I sent
Maybe
you
not
TikToks
today.
of that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I
'cause-
did see TikToks of that, yeah.
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 Okay.
you can understand if, like, those of you listening, and also George, like, you can understand why it's difficult to pick specific episodes of the show to give to someone who's never seen it, because so much changes, so much happens. So, like, when Lauren was talking about how Rick was broken there, that wasn't just because of Lori. Like, Lori dies in season 2 or 3. Right when they get to the prison, she dies in childbirth. And this is like season 7 when Negan shows up. And Rick is that fucked up because he walked into Negan's outpost thinking, like, my dick is huge and I'm going to take out his people because I heard this Negan guy's a dick. So I'm just going to shoot and kill all his people and whatever, because I'm the sheriff in town. And Negan retaliates by having them all kneel on the ground and bashing the fucking skulls in of 2 of his men. Like, and Glenn has been Rick's, like, brother from season 1. So when you were describing him being in the tank and everything, that's like the first episode or 2. Glenn's the one who gets him out of there. So they go that far back. And so to see that and then have Carl, his son, threatened, like, heavily threatened, like he was going to chop Carl's hand off. Rick's brain is already broken from Lori. Because what Lauren doesn't know is that at one point, I'm sorry, George, can you tell her about Ghost Lori?
Oh, he has this mental break at the prison where he's just seeing her everywhere. And everyone's trying, like, they're coming to him. They know he's the leader. They're asking him. He's answering phone calls. It's Lori. Like, she's like, Rick.
No, it's...
Yeah, he's hearing a lot of people.
It's people from another settlement that are like, Rick, we know about you and your people. We know you're a good guy and we want to help you, but, like, we can't. And he's like, please, you got to take my people. And the camera zooms out. The cord's fucking ripped.
Yeah, it's not connected to anything. He's having this conversation with nobody.
I can't.
Aw,
yeah, he broke on that. And then he's
Sometimes-
watching his friends get slaughtered in front of him.
Man, I love when I have to say, I love when shows that take themselves seriously do, like, the dramatic zooms or zoom outs. I fucking lost it when Negan went, hot diggity dog, and the camera went like, what?
This place is magnificent.
Okay. So
That became a TikTok
good.
sound. It's
Zoomed
everywhere.
way out, and he was like, this place is magnificent.
That was a reverse supernatural zoom in. It was a zoom out. It was
Bob
really
Singer.
fast.
Yeah.
So fucking funny. And I remember before we rewatched The Walking Dead recently, I thought that was like something edited it on TikTok to make that zoom look like that. No, they zoom that fast. It's ridiculous.
Like instant zoom.
But Rick has a lot of really extremely defining moments that change who he is. So we always say about Ravenclaws, there's a system, there's a truth that they follow that's, like, very difficult to move them from. I would say the zombie apocalypse is pretty heavily something that would change your system or your worldview. So for Rick, what I think is that his system was the law, and it was being a cop and helping people under that law because he was very dedicated to it. We see that he's an extremely quiet man. Lori complains about it all the time. She's like, you never talk. Like, you don't explain yourself. Like, I just fight and you don't fight back. And it really frustrates her. He's just this very quiet, law-abiding soldier type. And then he gets shot on a mission and he goes into a coma. And when he wakes up, it's the apocalypse. And he wakes up and he puts on the sheriff's uniform. And he walks out into the world.
He's wearing
not
it for
knowing
a while.
Not knowing it's overtaken.
He's
immediately
visiting
finds
the
a little
precincts,
zombie girl.
He's raiding them. He's got the walkie. He's sending out signals. If you need help, we're over here. He's trying to help Morgan. We have a settlement. Come find us. He definitely plays into that for the first half, and then we have a switch.
Yeah. So what? God, him talking to the little zombie girl. Her mouth, half of her mouth is blown off, and he's like, "Little girl,
Do you need help?
Little girl, let me help you." Yo, come on, guy.
I remember that.
So he gets to the settlement. He finds Glenn. He beats everyone's ass all the way through to Atlanta, and he joins the settlement and immediately is the leader. Immediately becomes the leader. And Shane is there with his wife and child because Shane got them out in the evac.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane started fucking his wife.
He was the leader because he outranks
probably with Shane's
Shane.
baby.
He outranks Shane, so they just all sort of handed it over.
Oh, like military.
And Shane, I believe,
So, and because they did that, that only reinforces him in his mind. He's like, well,
right.
I'm back. I'm the sheriff. Like, all right, you're going to give it to me. I'm the boss.
he has no problem taking it. So, and then pretends like, I didn't ask for that. You love it. So, Shane is what I think he's like a dark version of a Slytherin for sure. He has the chosen one syndrome to like Anakin levels. And he fully, at the end of their friendship, says, I am better than you. Like, I'm a better father. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. That baby in her belly's mine, whatever. And it was so funny because Rick tells Shane, you think I don't know? I know that's probably your kid. Do you think I care? That's my wife, so that's my kid. Mm-hmm. And you're going to fucking let me raise it. I don't care. So you can see him breaking Shane's brain. Shane's brain slowly like deteriorating. And he becomes more of a piece of shit and more of a piece of shit. But the system break starts with him killing Shane because he tried so hard to keep that farm and so hard to keep people together peacefully. And Shane rocked the boat so hard and it ended in his murder that he started to see, okay, the law doesn't work anymore. I have to become the law. And that's what I believe Rick's system is, that he is the law. It's law, but by him. Yeah. And I really do believe that because he was this like man of integrity and his word. And he would say like, my word is my bond. It's all that matters in this world now. And then like in season 7, he'll be like, yeah, I'll give you my word. And they turn around and he shoots them in the fucking head. Like he doesn't care anymore.
He'll take a hatchet and just slaughter you. He doesn't care.
And if he tells you he's going to kill you, he's going to kill you.
To get by.
Yeah. But one of the funny Ravenclaw things about him too is he tells Negan, Carl's dead. And this really hurts Negan because Negan loved Carl. He said Carl was the future. And he's like, and his dying wish was that we make peace. And Negan's like, I don't know if we can. And Rick is like, I wasn't offering it. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what his dying wish was.
And he's like, it's too late for that. Bad. I'm going to kill you. And Negan's like, how did he die? You know, just trying to disarm him.
Yeah. Going back. And then I think the show, go ahead.
I think we have to talk about the 3 questions that he establishes. So one of the rules that Rick has when he takes people onto his group is he asks them these 3 questions, like how many walkers have you killed? How many people have you killed and why? He makes all of his people ask this question. So Daryl asks it. Anyone who is recruiting is asking
to new people that they find. He means like to new people they come across that want help.
And I think that only reinforces the fact that he's decided these 3 questions are enough to evaluate a person. He's made it the recruitment like the requirement.
What is the criteria?
Just if they answer correctly, like how many walkers have you killed? Any number is fine, I guess.
Okay.
How many people have you killed and why did you kill them?
The important part is why did you kill the people?
Yeah, the last one. The first 2 are like kind of based at stats. And then the third one is like, what kind of person are you? So once...
How useful are you and who are you?
Are you going to be like the person that's only killed 1 and I got to die for you? Because, like the dude...
Are you going to be a farmer or a killer? Let's go. Those are the 2 jobs here.
Yeah, so it gives you the value and it gives you what kind of person they are. And then just from that one question, you're supposed to deduce, you know what? Yeah, come home with us. Why not? So, I mean, he created that role. And he can
always tell when they're lying. Like, he can always tell. He'll be like, you're a damn good liar. And just fucking leave them or kill them.
It's just vibes. He's just like, I don't like your voice. You're done. You failed the interview. You're not coming to us. You're not going anywhere. You're not even leaving. You're
going on in a body bag. When we talk about Michonne, we'll talk more about this episode, but I also showed Lauren the episode where Michonne gets to the prison. And I wanted her to see what Rick was like with her at first, because their relationship drastically changes. But at first he's like, get the fuck in here, don't move, like, give me information, and then you're on your merry fucking way. Like, he doesn't even ask her the question. He just doesn't like her, and he doesn't trust her, because she's from a town that he has a problem with.
Well, she acts very weird. You know, the first interaction he has with her, she's like standing in the middle of a
Herschel's
fence.
daughter was gone, I think. I don't know.
Right.
Maggie? Yeah.
They were kidnapped.
Oh, no, Glenn and...
by this town that Michonne was quote unquote part of, but I'll tell you more about that later. But he initially, you see what he's like with new people, immediately not trusting. And the way that the show solves this problem later is those 3 questions. But I love that you brought that up because that's so like core to who he is and to his house. It's so true. It's the baseline of fucking everything. Just how useful and like, what are you like? Are you nice? Are you good? Are you bad? And that's all that matters. It's nothing else. It doesn't ask anything else. And it's so funny how they all fall into line. his power is never questioned by people. He's the leader. And when occasionally it turns around and he's like, don't ever fucking say that shit to me again.
Well,
don't you
it
ever
happens
say that shit
because
to me
he
again.
wins. He wins until Negan.
And then he wins over Negan. So I don't know if Lauren knows what happens with Negan. Inevitably, they have this like battle royale between the two of them. And Rick promises he's going to murder him. But then when he does get Negan to the point where he could kill him, he decides not to. And he's like, we have to be better. But actually, it's because he wants to torture him and punish him forever because Ravenclaws have a punishment kink. And he wants to put him in a cell and make him watch while Rick builds a new good world better than Negan could.
He wants to rebuild society and have Negan watch. That way Negan knows he's a piece of shit because he's living in the fixed world and he's from the shit world.
Yeah. But now remember, he killed Maggie's husband. Like, she was pregnant with Glenn's kid.
Right.
And Maggie's like, what the fuck?
And Abraham.
Kill him. You've killed people for less. Like, what are you doing? And he's just like, I gotta keep him alive for my kink. It's my kink. I can't explain it to you. Like, he doesn't explain himself.
Negan doesn't care at all.
So she goes off to a different colony as a leader. He stays at his colony as the leader. They don't even talk. Like, their friendship's completely broken down. And Rick apologizes maybe like once at the end of a certain season, but he's like, but I still gotta keep him alive. Like, he's not bending. He's not gonna kill Negan. Yeah. Because he needs Negan to see how big his dick is.
Wait, the episode I saw, they said Maggie was dead.
Maggie did not.
No, Maggie's alive.
Maggie's on the spin-off with Negan.
The episode I didn't understand what was going on because Negan was like making all these innuendos about how he wanted to fuck the wife of the guy he killed.
I'm sorry. Yeah. They make Negan think she's dead to protect her. Yeah, because she's pregnant. And he was like, well, you know how like widows are, and like he wants to take her in, and who knows? Negan has many wives, so I don't know if he wanted to make her a wife or he was like, oh, it's that he's like, she's gonna want revenge on me, so I'm gonna have to take her out. You know that, right? So they're like, she's dead. She died.
Oh, that's not what he was saying at all. He was talking about wanting to fuck her. Okay. Yeah. So, then the father showed up and he was like, do you want to pay your respects? And Negan was like, holy shit.
You are creepy ass shit.
Gabriel had such a turnaround, man. He started off as such a...
Yeah, he did.
Talk about character
He's a Slytherin. Gabriel's a Slytherin. Oh, yeah. He's a lethal ass.
He's so indulgent. Like, everything's about protecting himself. He's a little rat.
Yeah, but then it completely changes to who comes into his circle, like Rosita and everything. And then he becomes like the preacher with a gun and a shut out eye, and he's like fucking lethal and will die for all of them. Yeah. He really has a cool arc.
But he had a flock.
Yeah.
And he got them killed. So I don't know if I'd ever trust him, even late game.
Oh, no, me neither. But he was pretty good. He ends up pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's Rick Grimes. Like, Rick Grimes is such a great example of a Ravenclaw. So if you've ever been confused by us talking about what constitutes a Ravenclaw, he's so good as a starting point. Like, I've never, ever seen in media a system switch represented so well. And, I mean, your system, the way you look at the world would have to shift a little, but you see characters like Shane, where he kind of always saw the world as it's a fucked up place. So whatever, now we're just going to deal with it.
Rick literally has a moment where he says,
completely changes.
This isn't a democracy anymore. And then we have the whole meme about Ricktatorship.
Yeah, it's a Ricktatorship.
You sent me a TikTok where he says a line and then later on he like says completely opposite of the line.
Yes, so I sent her that specifically because that was the system change. He goes, we don't kill people. That's not who we are. We don't kill the living. And then later, Dale says to him, you once said we don't kill the living. And he's like, that's before the living tried to kill us. So it's literally showing you from point A to point Z how his mindset shifts. And like other houses can have a mindset shift. We can change our minds. We can do that. But it alters a Ravenclaw to their core to have to move from the way they view the world. Like, it's actually wild. Why is that, George? What's wrong with you?
Oh, thanks.
Tell the people.
It's the hypocrisy. It's the anti-hypocrisy.
I think they're all very appreciative to have him around. Okay. You need someone who's going to keep order, okay, and rationale.
You think when he was following around Pete with the red balloon of symbolism that he was rational?
Oh, because Negan's way worked out so well, right? Negan and his saviors were working out great.
He attacked Negan and got Glenn killed. What say you to that about rationale?
That's not it. First of all, Glenn died to Negan.
Don't talk about Daryl yet.
I'm not gonna talk about Daryl. Okay, Glenn died to Negan. Rick did not get anyone killed. Negan killed
Rick
Glenn.
told them to go to the outpost. It is Rick's fault.
Okay, yeah, you can argue
it's
everything.
all their fault.
But at the end of the day, Negan killed Glenn. It's not Rick's fault. They just happened to get caught. They happened to lose, you know?
At the end of the day, Lucille killed Glenn. It wasn't even Negan's fault.
Yeah,
see how I can do that too?
It was Lucille, you know? She's a vampire bat.
Oh my God. All right. I don't, who should we talk about moves on from Rick? Like, who do we naturally go into?
I think we should go into Daryl.
Because, okay.
Entering Daryl.
Because Daryl's his brother, essentially. Daryl is, that's what he becomes. So I gave Lauren one like 20 minute Daryl scene. Fans of the show will know it as the one where him and Beth get separated from the rest of the group and he's protecting her. And I'm a certified Beth hater.
Your first drink.
I fucking hated Beth. Sorry to all the like Beth Daryl shippers and everything. Was glad when they got rid of her. I had to hear her sing one more goddamn time. Anyway, I felt like that showed a really good part of who Daryl is for Lauren to decide, because the problem with Daryl is he mostly grunts and shoots. And like, he's got really funny one-liners, but mostly he's like a hunter, a tracker, a straight shooter. And he's got this really traumatizing past. His brother was a complete dickhead, who's also Yondu. Merle is his brother. Really? That's Yondu. Yeah.
Except he's super racist at the beginning. Drops a couple very inappropriate words.
They try to give him somewhat of a redemption, you know, like where he changes and then like respects everyone. Daryl starts out mildly racist too. Like he called it's hard not you to actually see his trash. Development.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're Hicks. And Daryl starts out when he meets Glenn, he's like, oh, because you're a Chinaman, which is like horrible. And Glenn's like, I'm Korean. Yeah, and Daryl's like, okay. And then like the next season, someone calls Glenn something derogatory, and Daryl's like, he's Korean. Yeah. He's like, I learned it.
Yeah, he called him a Chinaman the first time, and he called him, he figured it out the second time,
He corrects people then after, So Daryl, like, you can see him grow and change, too, because he
it truly is ignorance. It truly is ignorance.
Yes, it fully is. And when he like meets these people and grows with them, it completely changes. So Daryl starts off as like a lone wolf who wants to find his brother who's been separated. They chained him up at the top of a building in the city because he's a fucking dickhead.
I remember that part. I remember because like my only frame of reference for Daryl was that he was the bad guy because I remember that.
So his brother Merle is the bad guy. So Daryl like. He wants to go find Merle, and he does make them go try to find him, but they fail. And then a child goes missing from the group, Carol's daughter, and he gets this new purpose where he's like, I'm gonna find that girl. I'm gonna find that girl. And he goes off and he shows his tracking skills and everything. And Sophia died. She's in the barn. It was a huge like season finale reveal thing. And that really changes him, and him and Carol become best friends, and he's just part of the group. Like,
it was his responsibility.
It fully became that because of himself.
But when
it's funny because
he finds his brother again later on, and he reverts. He completely ditches them to go talk to his brother, stay with his brother, figure out his brother, because that was his original priority. Yeah, he hates his brother. And his brother was actually like harassing him, saying like, "Oh, you're one of them now. You're going with Rick, and Rick was the one that cut my hand off. You know, he's a jerk."
I kept thinking about Yondu.
Yeah,
it is Yondu. It's Yondu.
Get out, your boy. It's Yondu's voice.
He might be your friend, but I'm your daddy.
Yeah, he's your friend, but I'm your brother. Yeah, and Daryl has a lot of guilt over that, so he goes with him until he like grows his own ball sack and goes back because he knows it's the right thing to do. Yeah. And you know, Merle doesn't let him forget that. They have a whole standoff and everything.
That was a big growing moment for him because he lived in the shadow of his brother, And this was the first time he's stepped away because he was always just like a spitting image of his brother or just trying to be like his brother. And
you want to talk about hallucinations? He hallucinates his brother when he gets his head hit. He hallucinates his brother berating and bullying him. Like that's what keeps him going.
Abuse growing up, his father was a abuser, and then his brother.
So
was
this
really
is the scene
mean.
I gave Lauren, where he talks about it. So Lauren, go ahead, give your. What do you think he goes?
From the one scene I saw.
Yeah.
It's a Gryffindor.
There it is.
That's really all you needed. I don't even know what to
He pulls
say.
a Star-Lord. He punches Thanos. You know,
I heard
he
about
triggered the Negan.
Yeah, I like the scene I saw, like he was just talking to Beth about how awful his dad was and like growing up, but he's like not awful or whatever. And then Beth's like, let's play a drinking game. He's like, I need a game to get drunk. And then it's like this fancy people shit. So then she's like teaching him how to play it or whatever. And it's never have I ever basically. And they do a couple of questions and then she goes, I've never been to jail. And he gets real pissed real fast. He's like, that what you think of me? And she's like, you know, like my dad's been, she was like, I just meant like, you know, like the drunk tank, you know, something stupid like that. Like even like everybody in my town's been in jail. And he's like,
he's so sensitive.
He's like, I guess you got to drink then. And she was like, and she doesn't drink. And then he's like, okay, well, it's your turn to say something. He's like, I gotta piss.
He gets his feelings hurt so
he
bad.
He got his feelings hurt. And then he went over and he was like yelling about like, she was like, you gotta be quiet because he drops his moonshine and it like shatters and you know, if you're loud, the walkers come. And there's one outside already. Yeah, well, he drops his moonshine and so it shatters. She's like, you gotta be quiet. He's like, oh yeah, guy who been in jail gotta be quiet because the walker's gonna come. Like, just being as loud as possible.
Because he knows he's overpowered.
You mean
he's
the
a main
walker's not
character.
going to protect your stupid ass phone because you'd
He
be
was
dead
as
without
protected
it?
as that Hyundai was, okay?
So he throws a little temper tantrum and then like freaks her out because like earlier she'd been like, I'd never shot a crossbow. She's like, let's go shot a crossbow now. And he's like shooting the walker that's out there and like manhandling her to shoot it too. And she's like, stop, you're freaking me out. And he's like, and she like goes up and knifes the thing in the head. And then she has this whole little speech like, I know you stare at me and you think that I should be dead and I should be, but I'm alive. And like, you just got to stop feeling guilt about it because I'm not your problem. And he's sitting there like, you are. I don't know. So, and I told Rachel too, like, I didn't really see much more of him, but she did explain to me that Thanos, Star-Lord punched Negan. And that's why Glenn was dead. So like Negan was teaching him a lesson by like making him a little, you know, like servant boy.
Yeah,
so
extreme torture.
Yeah.
It's extreme torture when they put him
He
there.
tries to break him and he just won't.
So yeah, so he's like he's been like dead silent this whole episode, and then they're talking about how the guns, and Negan's like, let's see if you've been taking care of my guns, Rick. And then he like loads a gun and like points it at Daryl, and he's like training on Daryl the whole way, and he just walks by. He's like, fucking shoot me, I guess. I'm loading these guns. I don't know. Like, he's like, do whatever you want. At all. No, he just keeps going.
From that moment on, he learns like he's like, I can't really be trigger happy, you know, I can't just go off, but the second I have an opportunity, I'm leaving, right? So he'll make Negan think that he's broken or he'll comply until he gets a window and then he's out.
And he barely even tries to make them think he's complying, though. That's the thing. Maybe he thinks he's doing a good job, but he's barely just grunting at them. Like, he's just waiting. So
they went like, in that episode, because I actually watched the parts, even though you told me not to. They like sent, I remember Rosita and the asshole guy, they like send him off to go get Daryl's bike or whatever. And then they get it and they bring it back. And the guy's like, you can have your bike back. All you got to do is say the word. And Daryl's just like, like takes off.
I say shit.
Yeah. Up to this point, so his brother is a huge loss. Sophia, the little girl, is another loss. Then Beth gets killed on his watch, quote unquote. It's not really, but she gets killed. That's another problem. Then Glenn, that's another problem. So he's blaming himself for every single one of these things.
He's constantly
to the point
crying.
that Negan takes him in for torture. He's like, yeah, I pretty much deserve that. But I was telling Lauren, like, yeah, he's in there saying I deserve it, but he hates it so much that the whole time he's plotting how to get the fuck out. So he never actually breaks.
Yeah.
Like, he cries a little here and there, but Daryl's a crier in general.
He endures it.
Daryl's crying, face is a meme. he cries a lot. And he manages to get himself out of there. And after that, he's still pretty much a silent hunter. Like when they get to Alexandria, the town that Deanna runs, everyone's like running water and fresh food. And Daryl like won't change his clothes and won't take a shower. And he's like, I ain't living like these people. These people living a lie. I ain't doing it. Like, he just wants to live like a fucking rat. Like he's just a full on rat.
He's not even eating their food. He's like cooking squirrel.
Yeah. And they have to give him a job, like to go on his motorcycle to go out to like find people to help because he hates everyone so much, doesn't want to be near a single living soul.
They made him a recruiter because he likes to be in the wilderness.
Bunch of fake bitches. Like, just fuck, he can't. When they go back out into the wild with Rick in charge, he's never been happier. Like he's so happy to be the number 2 guy.
When Rick leaves, like he has this whole story where he's out in the woods by himself.
Yeah, he just goes isolationist again. Because what happens is they make you think Rick died.
Oh, yeah.
He's on a bridge and it blows up. And everyone thinks he died, except Michonne. And then, they convince Daryl as well, like, to never stop looking for him. But he blames himself, too, for Rick, like, fake dying. Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much Daryl. I mean, I don't have, it's so sad. Like, what am I going to say? The time that he shot someone really cool? Like, he does that in every episode. He's fucking cool. Like, there's a reason everyone said if Daryl dies, we riot. Like, he's a fan favorite. That's why I had to put him in this lineup. He's a very entertaining to me.
Yeah, he's super lovable.
He had to be in the mix. He is. But an obvious Gryffindor.
And you said he makes it to France.
So we don't know how yet. There are spinoffs. And Daryl's getting his own spinoff. Maggie and Negan get their own spinoff. And Rick and Michonne get their own spinoff. These are 3 completely separate shows. But all we know is that he's in fucking France.
And that
I don't know how he gets there.
And that he's a trucker. Or that he was a trucker.
He used to be a trucker. We get his background.
We were never told what he was.
Because one of the running jokes in the show is people are like, what'd you do before the outbreak? And he just grunts at them. Like, he won't tell anybody what he did.
Beth did that. She's like, were you a prison guard at least? And he's like, ugh.
Yeah, he won't tell.
Think that's super
but it turns
cool.
out he was a trucker.
They've never done like a trucker on any TV show. Like a main character trucker. Can you think of one?
Are you joking?
Can you think of one?
Yes.
Who?
A main
Big
trucker
Sky.
character?
What's a big sky?
Who's Vic Sky?
Big Sky.
Big
One
Sky.
of
Let's look it
the
up.
Oh, we don't watch Big Sky.
What is Big Sky?
It's in Montana,
trucker
so everybody's
characters.
a trucker.
Jensen
Everybody's
Ackles is
trucker.
on it.
You're right, he is.
Are you
This is why
shocked
you know
that
it.
she said a show with Jensen? Yeah.
Where does this air?
Wow, I watched you process that in real time. That was fun.
Where does this air?
Anywho,
Hulu? Is it a Hulu
he
show?
was a trucker and kind of a troll.
BBC.
Like, they said to him, like, that's so, like, you have a stuffed animal on your windshield? Oh, how many kids you have? I don't got no kids. It's for the new ones. Like, he's just fucking with them. Anyway, Daryl's whole thing, too, it's kids. He loves kids. When Judith is born, he calls her little ass kicker, and he, like, helps raise her. Anything happens to a kid near him, he's gonna cry and kill you. Like, he loves kids. I'm seeing this huge Gryffindor thing with children. Like, it won't stop.
It's in the trailer, too.
You do something. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like, he loves making them laugh, and I don't know, man. He's a big baby. Maybe it's because we're all so childlike that we relate and want to protect them. Or we see ourselves in them and our traumatized pasts, and we want to prevent that from happening, So, that's my theory. But that's Daryl, Gryffindor. So we've got Ravenclaw, Rick, and Gryffindor, Daryl. Let's do Michonne. Oh, I love Michonne. I love her. Oh, fuck. So there was no way in hell I was doing this episode without sorting her. They're one of my favorite ships of all time. They're hilarious together, not for the reasons you think. They probably don't make everybody laugh. They make me laugh because they're houses and because they're fucking weirdos together. But they're also, like, extremely badass, but don't need to quip about it or talk about it. Like, they just do it
a
together.
lot of it is just nuances. Like, just they say it, they just look at each other and things are getting across. But
and heads get chopped off.
Yeah.
Yeah. like from across the room somehow with her katana.
Yeah. That's
So,
that's her interactions with like most people, even with Carl. Like she has these single episodes where she goes off with characters and then they're bonding, but there's not a lot being said.
She won't bond with a group. She won't bond in a
she
group
does a
setting.
lot of
She's got to get
one-on-one.
you one-on-one and see if you're worth.
Yeah.
But whatever. Let me get Lauren's take on her first based on what I showed her. Lauren, go ahead.
I feel like I barely saw any of her, which is sad, kind of, because she's a Slytherin. So I didn't really see any. Even the parts where Rachel was like, "You can watch this if you want to see her being like badass and killing people." It was really just like her practicing shooting or whatever. So I didn't really get the vibe from the first episode when she shows up. Like she's kind of just like not telling anybody anything, which I feel like anybody would be in that. Or maybe this is a blindness because I'm also a Slytherin.
No, that's your Slytherin brain.
Okay.
It's not true. Okay. I'd be crying and begging.
I would not be telling anybody anything about myself.
It's not normal.
Okay.
It's the way she was acting was not fucking normal. I should have known.
Which episode did you give her?
The episode where
I
she
gave her
shows
the one where
up.
Michonne shows up to the prison.
That's not
and
normal.
Won't speak.
That's not normal. She shows up to
normal.
She's standing in a herd of zombies holding baby formula, not saying a goddamn word. They at some point take her in.
People.
She doesn't even explain herself.
No,
she's just like, let's see what's going on here.
Yes.
I'm going to evaluate all this shit.
You need to tell me where you're at first, and then I'll figure out what I want to tell you.
Who the hell are you? You show up in my house.
for help. I'm not asking you for anything.
She's like, let's see, I got info. Maybe I want to help them, maybe I don't.
I'm pretty sure she literally said, I didn't ask for your help when she woke up and they were like, we saved you. She was like, I didn't ask for that. And so, because she passed out.
Oh my God, if I didn't love her.
That's
so rude.
I guess I am. I didn't realize that was bias. I was like, that's how everybody would act, that you wouldn't say shit until you knew what was going on.
I'm like, this is an obviously weirdo Slytherin scene. Let me send this one to her. And she's like, what's wrong with that? Oh my God.
Why would you tell anything until you knew what was happening?
Yeah, for the longest time, I didn't even think she could talk.
In a world where the only currency you have is the information that only you have, why would you start giving away any of it without knowing what you'll receive in return? You need to know the value of the information that you hold.
Shelter.
Bro.
Help.
She doesn't want safety or shelter.
I can go find that shit somewhere else. Like, you want my money, earn it. Anyway, so I didn't get that from that episode, I guess, because it was normal for me. But in the episode where they both get the sheriff uniforms and Rick puts his on and goes, I'm God, and Michonne's like, I hate this. I don't want to wear it. I don't want people to depend on me. I don't want to do what you want me to do. Like, and then at the end when Rick's having his little breakdown where he's like, me? You're gonna kick me out? And he like has his little speech or whatever. And she clocks him over the head. And Rachel's like, oh, you're gonna think this is so funny. Like, I gasped when it happened. And I was like, that's exactly what she should have done. I wasn't surprised at all. I was like, all the bad thoughts are coming out loud. You can't tell them that shit, Rick. You gotta keep it to yourself and just do it without saying it. Like,
I was so mad for him.
She's witnessing his breakdown and she's like, yeah, I still love this guy, but I can't let anyone see what he's really like. Like, you can't let them know you're crazy, Rick.
But no, that's what I mean. She's like, you're saying too much of it out loud. Like, you just got to do it. You can't tell them what you're doing. Like, you just got to do it and they won't know. They're dumb. So she clocks him. And then the only other thing that I really saw is when Negan was collecting all the guns and she was out shooting with a rifle and they didn't know that she had that rifle. But Rick's all like, if they find us with a rifle that we didn't give them, somebody's going to die. It's going to be a problem. So he tells Michonne that she has to hand over his rifle. And she's like, do they know I have this rifle? And he's like, no, but I don't want them to see you with it. Like, they might catch you accidentally. And if she's like, they'd never. It's dumb. But then Rick's like, I'm walking out here with that rifle. Are you going to let me or no? So he was going to like knock her out. I guess he could try. But she hands it over to him. And she's real pissed about it. And she got a deer and Negan was like, I love a woman who buys me dinner and doesn't expect me to put out. She's so disgusted with him. Oh, and there was another scene too when Negan's gonna make Rick cut off Carl's arm because he's like, I don't like that look you're giving me, Rick. And Michonne's like, we understand. We understand. She's like trying to do it again, where she's like, Rick is saying the bad things out loud. Like, don't listen to him. We all get it or whatever. And so she's trying to diffuse the situation. And Negan's like, he doesn't say this. I wish he did. He's like, I know you got it, darling. Ricky boy doesn't get it here. Like,
Yeah, basically.
yeah.
She's definitely
That's
a
the whole
logic
thing.
house, 100%.
Oh yeah, she doesn't have a sister. Like it's not the Ravenclaw
just
kind of
as-
logic. It's the quiet kind of
And
Slytherin
she obviously,
logic.
I mean, Rick's obviously her person. And then Rachel sent me all these videos of her with Rick's kid who isn't his kid. And that's obviously her person. That's her kid. So.
Oh yeah, she also has Rick's son. Like she has
she
another
does?
son.
Okay. These people are
yeah.
stupid for having children,
So-
but whatever.
Well, if anyone could have a kid and keep them safe, it's her. So, but the problem is she has an extremely tragic backstory. She had a son, a very small son, and she lived with her husband or boyfriend and her brother. And they get to like a colony early on during the evacuation, and the brother and the dad are supposed to be watching the kid, and they don't watch the kid. Walkers get in, they get the kid. Michonne sees that they're also bitten and fucked and blames them and allows them to turn. And then her whole shtick is she removes the jaw from zombies and then cuts the arms off. So she completely disarms them and then she chains them to herself so she can walk through hordes completely masked.
And they
her
actually
first
say when
two
you take away the teeth
were
and
them.
the hands, it makes them docile.
Yeah.
So
And
so
she
they just
figured
sort of
that out.
follow along and provide camouflage for her.
So, like,
Yeah.
they can't. I
And
thought their
it's-
thing was hearing. They can't, like, smell her or see her when she's got
Well,
walkers.
What are they
because
gonna
the
do? They have
zombies
no
are
jaw.
around her.
No. She's disguised from other ones that do have their jaw, right?
Yeah,
That's why she does
the
it?
two of them are emitting smells, so
it's
she's
your
like
mask,
amongst
yeah.
them. Yeah,
Okay, because she was standing right next to some of them. They weren't doing anything at first.
yeah.
Exactly. It's because she had two next to her. So she pulls this move a couple times after, but like her main ones were completely retribution for her child. It was like the two people who got her kid killed. So she has a lot of problems from that point on opening up to anyone. Now she's like a survivalist. She's been in the wilderness on her own. And she runs into this woman, Andrea. She's from season 1. She's this blonde lady. You really didn't see much of her. She's a huge problem. But Michonne sees she needs help and she forms like an attachment with her. They go to this colony where the first villain of the show, his name is the governor.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
she talks
actually,
about
Shane's
him.
the first villain. But the first big bad
I thought it was
besides
Daryl's
Shane is the
brother.
governor.
No, Daryl's
No, he's
brother
just a
works for the governor.
He works for the governor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Michonne can see from the very first minute they meet the governor, something is wrong with him. Something's
What's his name?
off.
Pete or something?
I don't want to stay here.
No, Pete was
I don't
the
remember
guy
his real
abusing
name.
his
What
wife.
is he called? Philip. He's Philip. Sorry, it was a P name.
Philip.
Yeah.
And Andrea falls in love with the governor and she wants to, she's a Hufflepuff. She wants to be part of the community so bad.
She
And
tried with
Michonne was
Rick's
like,
group.
Andrea?
Sounds like a
She tried with
Hufflepuff.
Rick's group, and Shane wouldn't have her.
Yeah.
The group wouldn't have her. They just couldn't stand her. So she latched on to the first freaking group she found, which was the governor's group, and
Whatever. Hufflepuff to the end.
Yeah, and she loves Michonne, and Michonne immediately takes a liking to her because Andrea's like, she's got her little badass ways, whatever. But I think Michonne kind of sees her as a pet.
Mhm.
That's my personal
Yeah.
opinion. So she wants to take care of her.
You know
and
what it
help
probably
her, but
was?
she
It was
won't
her, I'll
leave.
help this one and my quota's filled. Like,
Yeah, but the problem is Andrea won't let the quota be filled because she won't leave. She won't let Michonne take her away from here. So Michonne's out, like she escapes, and it's very difficult to get away from the governor. And she ends up like overhearing Maggie and Glenn being kidnapped and sees that they had baby formula. And she's like, fuck, now I have to figure out where this fucking baby formula is from. This is one
Where's
of my
the baby?
goddamn triggers,
Where's
but I can't
the
let a baby
baby?
go hungry. So she tracks their way back, and that's how she ends up at the prison. And she gives them information, and
Does
they
she?
attack,
Does
and whatever, and
Because
she
she's
becomes
standing
part
there
of.
not talking for
Later.
like 5 episodes.
She does in the
I'm
episode
sorry,
I
do
gave
you
Lauren.
want
She
your
gives them a little
friends back?
information.
Not my problem. Here's your formula.
No, she really, she's like a steel trap at first. She really is. But you can understand why. Like, she's been through a fucking lot. And she eventually starts to open up. She starts to open up through Carl. From the group, Carl is her first person. He's a young kid. He needs guidance. He's angry about what happened to his mom, to his little sister. And she immediately, it's the first time you see Michonne smile, it's for Carl. The first time you see her laugh and make jokes, it's with that kid. He becomes her son before her and Rick are even close to being a romantic thing. And her badass shit speaks for itself. Like, I don't need to go into how that, it speaks to her house. Like, she's extremely disciplined and lethal. But I also think it's funny when the logic houses get together because there's no big boom. There's no like big discussion about it. They're sitting there one night. Rick went to get her toothpaste. They're laughing about it because he lost the toothpaste, and they hold hands and they kind of look at each other. And it's like, you want to do this? Yeah, that makes sense. I like you. I like you too. And the next scene, they're in bed. They're waking up together. Yeah. And now
they don't talk.
It's like not fight. Even a question. They do not argue. They do not have like serious, like there's no couple problems, right? Any fights or arguments they have, it's about leading or about something with the group. They're fucking rock solid. And it's like they made a deal with each other. Like, we're together now. That's it. They're not moving from it. And I sent Lauren a TikTok, and George, I told you about this too. Like, I thought it was so funny when they're in the car and she's like, I can't lose you too. Cause now she has this whole family with him. Like, she's let these people in. She's like, I physically can't, if I lose you people, my heart's gonna give out. Like, I'm just gonna die. I let you in. That was my first mistake. And I'm gonna die if you die. And Rick's like, you could lose me. I could lose you. Shit happens. And she's like, I guess it does. Okay, what the fuck? I was so upset about it, but it made so much sense. Like, he's spitting straight facts. They're horrible facts. You're supposed to lie. And like, you know, Michonne, you're supposed to get mad that he said it. And she doesn't. She's just like, yeah, that's true. I could, I guess. I could. You're right. I was being silly feeling things. You're right. I could lose you. But when they get separated, she is the one who will not give up. Like, it doesn't matter if anyone calls her crazy. Like, he got blown up, Michonne. There was no blown body. Up. And she's like, no, there's no body. So he's out there. Like, I know he's out there. And he fucking is. And she raises his daughter. She raises his son. Carl has long died. Which was another horrible decision the show made.
Yeah, the actor said that he just randomly got the script one day that said he died. And he's like, what? I invested so much time into the show.
He grew up on the show. It's really horrible.
And they developed him. Like, he finally got him to a point where I was starting to like him. And then they killed him.
Well, Negan said Carl was the future, and that was like completely accurate. He would have been a great leader at some point.
It's so disrespectful. And it's not. And the one that disrespected it the most was Rick, because he was like he has his moments where he's like, "Oh, Carl," but like,
I mean, he already prepared that kid. I saw like 5 conversations just from the episode Rachel gave me where he's talking to Carl, and he's like, "Carl, you're gonna die or I'm gonna die, but we'll die."
What is he even fighting for? What is he fighting for? His son dies. He wants to set up this world. And he's like, nah, screw my son. He was weak.
That's it.
He is to save humanity now.
He wants to see his vision be realized. He's also a drama queen. He's just quieter about it. So, but that's the whole Michonne thing. And it's very clear to me that Rick is like her person. And she follows all these clues to realize like he actually is alive. And she trains Judith to be a complete fucking badass. She's just an excellent, excellent character. And they're really fun to watch as a Slytherin Ravenclaw couple.
Judith is amazing because she has her dad's gun and her mom's sword. So she's just this ultimate badass. And she's like, yay high, squeaky voiced, and we'll take you out. And she's sweet.
Yeah,
and she's also like really kind and sweet. You have Negan falling in love with the second one of Rick's kids. Well,
he loves her too.
Bro. Negan's funny.
Yeah.
All right.
So he loves kids Negan, too. He just won't do anything like to change.
I know. The TikTok you talked about earlier when you were like, Negan's trying to distract Rick when he was like, was it the grenades? I took it another day. I took it like Negan was like, I'll kill who threw the grenades. Like, I don't know.
So the problem with Negan is he killed one of the show's beloved characters.
And he
widowed Maggie. And you can't come back from that shit. But also Negan's really fucking funny. So you're watching it, and like, I mean this completely seriously, like, he's very difficult to hate. So you'll see comments about him even now, like, I'll never forgive him for what he did, but that shit was funny, though. That shit was funny, though. And the show runs into a problem where Jeffrey Dean Morgan's so fucking good, they couldn't get rid of him. They could not get rid of him.
What'd you call it?
And now Homelander? Somehow he's on the run with this woman he widowed. Like, it's going to be wild.
Yeah. Because in the last season, they're together. And she can't stand his guts. He can't stand her guts. She will never forgive him. Even to the very end, he had opportunities to save her. He's like, nope, I left her behind. I left her to die. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he does.
She's a bitch to me. Why the fuck would I try to save her? You know? and now they're gonna stick these two
She
together.
was
It's gonna
mean
be
to
the best
me.
show.
I know I killed your husband. When are you going to get over it? Like,
Yeah.
that was so many years ago. That was season 7. Oh my God. He's so butthurt about it. Like, you did it, dude. You did it. Just, you should run off and be ashamed.
He has no shame.
Run off. Anyway, Lauren, where did you put?
I don't know how he feels no shame.
He does feel shame.
Negan?
He feels extreme guilt and shame all the time.
Negan.
When he's in the prison, Negan.
Feels no shame. None.
No, don't agree. Don't agree.
Okay.
He apologizes to Maggie at the end. How are you going to tell me he feels no shame at all?
He is a
He feels
liar.
bad about it.
He's a wordsmith. Wait, Lauren, sort him first.
Gryffindor.
Yeah, there it is. He's a wordsmith. He'll say what you need to hear to win or change the world or just build around. He's just a hot air. That's all he is. And people like it. He's the show. He's funny. Look up Negan quotes. You're going to find 20 funny ass quotes. What is this? I wear a leather jacket. I have Lucille and my nutsack is made of steel. What the hell is that? Okay. He's entertaining as shit. So entertaining that their writers, the gods of their world, can't even let him go. Okay. So he can do whatever he wants. He has no guilt, no remorse. He's literally just, he went up to Rick and said, I just slid my dick down your throat. And that's what he's doing to Maggie. Okay. He's doing that
So anyway, that is all early seasons Negan when he is the head bitch in charge. They attacked
He's
him. If you
always the
watch The
head
Walking
bitch.
Dead from Negan's perspective, Rick is the villain. If you watch it from Negan's perspective, he's punishing them in the way he sees fit to punish because he's traumatized by the death of his wife. The bat that he named
He was at
after
home
her.
playing Gears of War and she died.
So anyway, I'm not defending him at all. I mean, I can't defend Rick either. Rick's a fucking crazy bitch. But they're both complete assholes. If you remember, George, in the final seasons, they're about to when they get to that town where everyone looks like RoboCop, they're about to kill him. He has a new wife and everything. And he's like, don't fight it. Let them kill me. This is how I killed Glenn. Like, I deserve to go out this way. He carries the shame of what he did to Glenn all the time. He carries the shame when he
y'all are
looks at
so
Glenn's
emotional.
son.
You have occasional moods, but when he comes back to his senses,
It's
he
not
feels
occasional
nothing.
moods. He does not feel... You're so fucking wrong. He feels so much guilt. It's just that it's only when it's in front of him. Like, when he has to ruminate alone, he gets mad. Like, why are you locking me up? Like, let me out. Let me out.
He will literally... You could tell him Carl died, and he'll be like, oh, shit, that sucks. I like that kid. I can't wait to kill you. Like, what's wrong with him?
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with any of us. I don't know.
It sounds like the paradox.
It makes no sense. He just exists to be a dick. And you once you challenge the presence of the dick, it only pisses it off because it's like, I should exist. You're making me sound like Alex Jones, okay?
The thing that you're explaining, and then what Rachel, I think, is trying to get at, but she's getting caught up, is like Negan sounds very right side, where like they disguise their like shame and guilt as like the thing that fuels their ridiculousness. Yeah, so like Tony Stark or Logan Eccles or even Killian Jones sometimes a little bit less. Butcher. Yeah, where they're like, so it's like they don't like feel that shit because they turn it into something else, but when you put it right in front of them, they're like, oh shit, it found me.
Yeah, my issue is that it doesn't last, and because it's fueling all that other shit, I deem it fake.
Rachel said that whenever the fucking bat, something happens to the bat, he like loses his fucking mind. So that's obviously.
Well, because he's had his own mental break, just like Rick has. You know, he actually thinks the bat is his wife.
But that's attached to like his.
The spirit of his wife is now in that bat.
To the shame and guilt that she died, right? And he didn't do anything.
Yes.
So.
So he doesn't feel it. He placed it in the bat.
Yeah, that's what
and
I'm saying.
If you break the bat, it'll get out. It'll get out of the bat. Don't fuck with the bat.
You take the bat away from him, and he's like suddenly faced with it, and then he's like, "Oh shit, it found me!" And he's got to run really fast until it doesn't.
Oh, y'all are dangerous. What you could just hide feelings away like in a chest.
No, they turn them into something else. Like it's even worse. It's Slytherins will hide it away. They turn it into something else
They don't process anything.
Until you put it in front of them and go, this is what it is. And they're like, oh no. And they have to run away from it.
No coping skills.
Like hamster wheel away.
I'm sad. I'm not going to feel it. I'll just murder something instead.
You could have a really cool Impala to put it into, a pirate ship, Iron Man suit, a bat.
Your hook that you handle on your right hand.
Your hook.
It's the hand that's bad.
Your leather jacket.
Okay? It's not me. The hand is bad.
The hand is the evil thing.
I never did anything to the hand, did he? It was you all along. God, what a fucking...
At least in my house, we don't get a red fucking it clown balloon following us around to symbolize
your
our
house
crazy...
colors are red because y'all are red flags.
Oh, wow.
So y'all...
Wow. Coming from the most pretentious of all houses, it's fine. I expected nothing less. You just don't know how to have fun.
What were we talking about last week that was really for Ravenclaw? Oh, it was fucking Doctor Strange, who's like... destroying the entire fabric of the universe for his Christine, but he sees another Christine. He's like, bye, Christine. Like, bye.
Not mine.
You're not mine.
It's not mine.
Your hair's dyed
Meanwhile,
red.
Wanda's destroying the entire
universe.
fabric of reality for her fake kids. Like, yeah, no, Gryffindors can be like, it can get scary, sure, if you get to that level. If you are in an apocalypse and you've been severely traumatized, sure. Or you could just get like a grunt like Daryl. Like, you know, it's a mixed bag. But Negan, if you remember...
I think, well, I would say that they're not at the exact same place in the scale, because I guess Negan is one who, like, he changes his emotion and then he outwords them, right? So he's extremely dramatic and, like, he does the sing-songy voice, and I fucking was cracking up, because he was... Like, it's a show for himself. Like, he's doing this shit when nobody's around. Yes. He's like, so it's all a show for himself and whoever has, like, the privilege of seeing it. But, Daryl is one who, like, he takes all the feelings and he doesn't turn them into something else. He internalizes them, and he sits in his develop this. Like, and just thinks about how he deserves it.
So you get to see Negan locked up, and he at no point thinks he deserves it. He's sitting there, he's talking to Judith through the bars, and he's giving her advice on shit to do.
Once upon a time, there was a bad man that did
like,
a bad thing, but, I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, they come down, they're like, aren't you ashamed of yourself? Michonne's like, aren't you fucking ashamed of yourself? And he's like, no. When are you gonna let me out of here, man? You're just gonna, you're either gonna let me die here or let me out, so stop fucking talking to me. Like, why do you keep coming down here and fucking talking to me? It's annoying. And then he tries to redeem himself. At one point, Lauren, they make you think walkers can talk to each other, but it's actually this, like, pack of people that figure out how to wear walker skin.
Oh, and he makes out with one. I've seen that scene.
He does more than make out with one.
He does.
He goes full.
Yeah. But he does it
all the way.
He does it for the group.
Yeah.
And he thinks that's going to, like, this is so funny.
This is his redemption arc in his mind.
He's like, this'll make them love me. Yeah. And he fucks this lady.
While she's wearing the dead suit.
He tries so hard. And they're like, cool try, bro. You still killed Glenn. He's like, God, how much you people need from me? Like, I'm trying to make it better. And then he finally does come to a more healed place where he realizes, I'm not going to win them over. And I deserve that. And I'm sorry, Maggie.
George.
And I wish you could forgive me. And she's like, I can't and won't. And he's like, fuck. All right. Fuck. Like, he moves on.
And of course he can't leave. These are the people he's dedicated himself to for the rest of his fucking life.
He can't leave.
He's like, I gave them some of my best show. I can't. They're my fans.
They've seen some of my best work.
I can't leave here. I don't know if I can replicate this.
This is Broadway. I can't go back to the sticks now.
Yeah.
You know, another thing I wanted to bring up about Michonne was, now that you know this whole Negan situation, Rick is trying to, like, validate his reasoning for keeping him alive, even though it makes no sense to keep Negan alive. And Michonne goes to see Maggie because she's like, you can't kill him. Like, Rick, this is what we need. Like, we need him to stay alive. We're making a point. And Maggie's like, what if it had been Rick that died, Michonne? Would Negan still be alive? And Michonne's like, I don't want to talk about that. She just fucking refuses.
She's like, that's not reality, so I don't have to consider it. That's not reality, so I don't have to think about it. And I don't have to give you an answer. I don't owe you
I'm
any
stories.
so for that. You know, like I don't deal with what ifs. That's a giant waste of time.
Yeah.
This is what we
Just
were
like,
dealt. Yes,
don't
you're not
owe
a
you
main
my
character.
thoughts
I am.
on
Sorry.
hypotheticals.
I don't owe you my thoughts.
Not on hypotheticals.
Not on hypotheticals. A waste of time.
What the fuck?
You know how many times in our entire
Those are fun
relationship
little sharing
Rachel says,
stories.
"What if this or what if that?" And I'm like, "Well, what if I had 3 dicks? You know, what if they mean nothing?"
But what if it could mean something?
I didn't watch the Marvel What If because it's a waste of time. Who cares? Who cares? What if anything? Literally anything.
You know, I get you on the Marvel thing somewhat, but like hypotheticals do matter. And Maggie was making
They
a good
only
point.
matter
She's
if
like,
you're trying to
why-
prevent something from happening, which is all Rick does.
Yeah, but do you don't agree with Maggie that Negan should have died for what he did to Glenn?
Yeah, no, she got her there.
So Michonne is just there. She's like, I'm actually here defending my man, and I don't have to have this conversation with you because he's not dead. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, it was she wouldn't even like entertain it. She was just like,
Why should she?
because it's a valid argument.
But it's not because it didn't happen.
I don't know how to make you realize that you should care about other people. Oh my God. Listen, the reason this show is so fun is because the logic houses are in charge and things still all get fucked up, but they all find a way to make it like, nah, not my fault. It's someone else's fault. And then you get this giant dickhead Gryffindor who comes in, and of course you can pin it right on him. Of course everything's his fault. But if you cared about hypotheticals, he wasn't always the villain in his own world. But y'all don't want to talk about hypotheticals. So it's just The Walking Dead is a logic house's universe, and the rest of us are just fucking living in it until you get one really crazy Gryffindor, and then I mean, that really changed the trajectory of the show when they brought Negan in. Like, hugely. It became a completely different show. Like,
I think Negan is one of those that
came in with
falls
that goddamn
on the
bat.
furthest end of your spectrum for Gryffindors, right? He's like far on the
he's
bottom.
far over there.
So you got what
No
Edward
other
Cullen was like the
Gryffindor-
other end where they super hate themselves, and Negan super loves himself.
You think he's past Butcher?
I would put him past Butcher because Butcher has not committed half of the atrocities that Negan has without shame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Negan will do it
Yeah,
without
he's-
shame and with showmanship. It's
He's the Anakin of our house.
insane.
Yeah. I actually, dude, from what I remembered, I was like, oh, that dude's probably a Slytherin. Like, he's funny, like, he's got his little quips, but, like, he's also, like, a badass and a fierce fighter. Like, I didn't see any Gryffindor on my first watch, but I remember I didn't really think about houses that way then. The second the motherfucker popped up on my little pig, let me in. I went, oh, no. Oh, no. Don't tell me this. Oh, no. Oh, my God.
He's so unfair.
And he's a right-sider.
He's so unfair. He shows up to their house. He's like, okay, I'm coming in. Your doors are unlocked. You're all pretty much shit now. I'm taking your beds. I'm taking your guns. I'm taking your women. I'm taking your food. I'm taking all
it's
your
all
shit.
revenge
And you
because
better
they
kiss
took his
my
people.
dick for letting you live because you killed a couple
Yeah.
of my guys who were being
You know
dicks
what?
to you.
He brought up such a great argument. Like, Rick was like, Glenn was gonna be a father. You don't even care that you orphaned a child. And Negan was like, and when you attacked the outpost, you killed the parents of several fucking babies that I had back at my colony. Did you give a fuck? And Rick was like, no, this ain't about me.
I can't see the babies.
Was that baby related to me? Then I don't see why I care. Who? Me? Fucking Rick
You
Grimes,
think this is
bro.
me? I love that. I think that's my favorite Rick moment. He's completely
mine
covered
too.
in blood, lost his shit. Me? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
He has to be knocked out to stop. And only Michonne could see that he was so far gone. She had to like fucking deck him to just.
He couldn't
just
believe
go
it
to
and he
sleep.
couldn't stop. He could not stop. Who knows what he would have done?
He couldn't.
Because what are you going to do then? You can't rationalize with these people. You have to kill them. He would have started killing. There was no other alternative.
You're right. My house is the red flags. You're right. You're
But
super
who's right, at the end of the
right.
day? Who keeps you
Which
safe?
one of us takes care of the babies? Who
keeps
of us
you
cares
safe?
for the children? None of you.
Not just the men, but the women and the children.
Lauren, that's your house. What do you have to say for yourself? She supports his work.
Mr. Skywalker, what are we going to do?
What murder?
Murder. The nicest guy around.
Great thing about fiction is that I'm allowed to love these people and you can't do anything to stop me or make me feel bad. So, that's how I feel about the Walking Dead characters. I'm glad to see that George and Lauren agree with me so I can keep them in my life. This would have been a breaking
Who
point,
wrote these lines, bro? Like, let's piss in our pants yet? It's gonna be pee-pee pants city real soon here. What? Who wrote
He probably
this?
said, it's gonna be pee-pee pants city real soon. He talks.
Hope you got your brown shitting pants on because there's gonna be a lot of pooping
What did
soon.
I tell you? He talks like Rachel. Oh, I told you he talked like
Like a
what did I say?
cartoon.
Like, I said like Slinky Dog from Toy Story, but I'm also thinking about it. He also talks like an old time like circus announcer where he's like,
Oh my God.
I mean, who else would say hot diggity
Oh,
dog
wow.
besides Mickey
yeah,
Mouse?
he does. He sounds like fucking Slinky Dog from Toy Story.
Wow.
Bobbly God Alley.
Rick, you feel that? I just slid my dick down your throat. Like, why are you talking
And you
this way to
thanked
people?
me.
This is a Gryffindor who wanted the responsibility.
Mhm.
You see what happens? You see what happens when you make us want it?
Mhm.
Don't give it to us. Don't do it.
They usually
You've
don't,
seen-
Jeff
you've
Winger?
seen-
No, he's a
You've
Slytherin.
seen?
Oh.
No, yeah, I was gonna say you've seen the
Mm.
fucking extreme case of them not accepting it. Fucking Anthony Bridgerton.
Mm-hmm.
You can move
Mhm.
back to India. I won't care.
I gotta pull
Yeah,
up
he
your
would have been on
list.
the bottom of that carriage. Like, what?
I gotta pull up your list and just remind myself of the other Gryffindors.
Oh, it's been updated now.
Oh, nice.
Unless Rachel sent you the updated one. I'm gonna send this to you, Rachel, to put them in the.
No, I didn't.
You're gonna have to put the Walker people in here because I don't know. I don't know enough about them.
The Walking Dead people?
Yeah, the Walking Dead people. Sorry, not fucking Walker.
So Negan falls at the
Oh,
very
you want me to
bottom.
put them all in there?
yeah,
the
yeah.
very
I don't. Well,
bottom of Gryffindor.
I can put Negan in, but I don't know where the rest of them go.
You're saying Daryl belongs with like Edward Cullen?
No, not all
No.
the way down there. He belongs like
Like Bucky.
maybe a little
Kinda
further than
Bucky.
that.
Yeah, it's more there.
Maybe
That's,
around,
that's
like-
like the third one.
Yeah.
I'd put
It's
him a
pretty
little
low.
farther than that even.
Well, I just told you. I can't say it. I sent you that text.
It's
the show I'm
between
watching.
Bucky and 11.
He's
You didn't respond when I said a
you talking
character was a mix of two characters, and that's where she was on the scale, and it made it scary. I don't think you said anything.
I don't think I read that.
Hmm.
You can reply to it and get my attention to it. So, holy shit, that was 4 characters.
We did it.
Yeah, thanks for agreeing with me, guys. I had a moment about this show where I was like, dude, if they seriously like don't, because George was watching it with me and I was telling him, I was like, this one's that, and he's like, that one's that, and I was like, yo, if Lauren doesn't see it, I may have a mental breakdown. Like, I can't. So, thanks to everyone for listening and tuning in. If you don't agree, don't talk to me, and I love you forever.
Happy birthday, George.
Thanks.
Happy
George's birthday episode,
Happy
technically.
birthday to you.
Oh, God.
Hot diggity dog.
Birthday, Rick.
I married her.
Do you think they told him
You
to talk
married
like
Negan.
that?
Yeah, no, he probably developed that on his own. He did,
Negan's way farther than me, brother.
I know. Married your house there. You're all the same.
you married Star-Lord.
Yeah. I did marry Star-Lord.
Anyway, Rachel.
I'm sorry, were you saying it like it was a bad thing? I don't really understand.
We're doing Ted Lasso next. Rachel hasn't watched it yet. Any of it?
I'll watch it this week.
Mhm.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. You have to remind
Better.
me. Oh, I have time.
You have 2 weekends
Get all
and
the time in the
Memorial Day.
world.
And Memorial Day.
What murder? Okay. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're so welcome for this honor.
Welcome back anytime, George. Anytime.
Good day and good night to all.
right.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!